welcome back to the Math Society. So this week we'll be doing graph and charts, which is another Excel topic. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so for the first question, it says that the weights of 710 passengers at a bus station were recorded, and they give you the incomplete table histogram, and they just need to know the we just need to draw the histogram after. So here they've already given you the number of passengers for like each weight, but they give you the total of number of passengers, which is 710. So which means all of these will add up to 710. So we can say that there would be 240 passengers here at this range of weight. And we just now need to complete the histogram. So first it says 50 to 60 was 80. So that we can actually just let's just have a look. So say 60 to 80 was 120. So it means this is 120 at that time. Let me have a look. 120. So which means it's going on in like 40 increments. So 80. Just put like 160, 200, 240, 280. And then the first one is 80. So we can just draw 80. Yep, that should be it. And it says 80 to 95 was 270. So we just need to find 270 for that part. So then it would be 295. So it means it's up to here. It would be 275, which means this should be closer here. So this is just an estimate. Okay. Okay, the graph is really bad, but just right this way. Then you get the point. So here I'll just test it. And it says 95 to 115 was 240. 115 is right here. So this should be 240. Just right here. And that's it. That's your histogram. Okay, so for this question too, it says that we are given the histogram, but then it says that there were 7 people on the plane with an age of 5 years or under. So if it's 5 years or under, there are like 7 people here. We just need to calculate the number of people on the plane with an age of over 20 years. So it means you have to calculate 20 to 30, 30 to 60, and then 60 to 80. So first of all, we know that frequency density is equal to frequency divided by the class width. So here we have frequency, which is 7, and class width of 5. So we know that it's going to be 1.4. So here we can say that frequency density is 1.4. So we know that this would be 2, and this 1, and that would be 3. And then it says that calculate the number of people over 20 years. So 20 years to 20 to 30 is a class width of 10. And they have a frequency density of 2. That plus, and it's from 30 to 60, which is 30. Multiply, we just need to figure out the frequency density, so which is 2.5. Plus, here's 60 to 80, which is 20. Multiply frequency density, which is going to be 1, so that would be 2.9. Just add all of them together, and that will give you 20 plus 75 plus 18. So that gives you a total of 113 people that is age over 20 years old. So now we'll go on to number question 3. It says that they give you the incomplete table and pie chart. It says 440 adults. It says plane was 144 degrees, and then you have the this whole thing would be considered as plain and white. Oh, sorry, not plain and white, as milk and white. But we know that 360 degrees, which is the all total things, will equal to 440, right? So then because we know that it will be 360, we can calculate how much 1 degree is, which will be around about 1.2 to 2 adults. So we know that 144 degree will be equal to 176 adults. So that would be given 176 adults. And then you just subtract 440 minus 209 and 176 to get 55 for white. And that should be it. And number 4. Number 4 is to find the class. First of all, the tables given. A was find the class interval that contains the median length. And we know that in total that's like 28. So that median will be at 14. You can see it's 18 already. So it means it's in this range, which is 5t. And says B, calculate an estimate in seconds to 1 decimal for the mean length of time. So we need to find mean. So if we want to find mean, we know that we need to find the middle, which would be 2.5 multiplied 10. So that's going to be 25. We're going to have to do this for everything before we can find the mean. So 5 and 8 and 8, so that will give you 52. This one gives you 45, 37.5, 45, and that will give you 0. And then we just need a mean, right? So that's an estimate mean, be equal to 25 plus 52 plus 45 plus 37.5 plus 45 divided by total frequency, which is 28. So that'll give you 7.304 seconds estimately. So here you can just give 7.304 seconds. And says B says that the incomplete histogram below gives information about the length of time in seconds that each of 35 birds spent on Ali's bird table on Tuesday. Says 9 of them spent between 5 and 8 seconds on the bird table, 6 of them spent between 8 and 10 seconds on the table, no bird spent longer than 40 seconds on the bird table. So to know the frequency, we can calculate between 5 and 8. This could be 5 to 8 because this one would be 8 to 10. So 5 and 8 seconds, it says 9 of the birds. And then you have a class width of 3. So which means this was at 3. So then we can calculate it's at 1, 2, and 3. And we just need to find the use this information to complete the histogram, which is we need to complete 8 and 10. So that's like class width of 2. And then we know that frequency density equal to frequency, which is going to be 6 divided by class width 2, so that's going to be 3 as well. Oops. So this is just going to be the histogram. And these days, find the proportion of birds on Tuesday. On Tuesday, that's spent longer than 15 seconds on the bird table. So it has to be more than 15 seconds, right? So then we can have a 5 out of 35, which is a 1.1 by 7 proportion of birds that spent on the table that is longer than 15 seconds.
This question number 5, it says that the incomplete histogram is given with 184 days. None were less than 5 degrees Celsius and all were less than 25 degrees Celsius. So here we're given the frequency density, and we know that frequency density formula is the formula is equal to frequency divided by the class width. So here we can see that frequency for 5 to 10 was 20 and class width was 5. So if we want to know the frequency density, it will be 20 by 5, which will give a frequency density of 4. So here this can be known as 4, this will be 5, which means if 2 blocks is 5, the upper one would be 2 would be 10, 15, and this one would be 20. And then we have 10 to 15 and a number of days 80. So we need to know what's the frequency density for it. And we know that it's 80 divided by frequency. The class width is also 5. That would be 5 and 5. So that's 630. So 16. We just need to calculate into 16. Here we have 15. So that here would be 16. Okay, it's not gonna be it's gonna be a wobbly little thing. But this one should be right here. And that's a frequency of 16. And then we're finding the number of days. This time we're finding the frequency. So we know that frequency density equal to frequency divided by class width, right? Now we want to know the frequency. That would be frequency density multiplied class width. So class width we have 15 to 17, that's 2. And number of days, here we can find the frequency density first. So 15 to 17 frequency density ends here, which is going to be 16, 17, 18. So that would be 18 multiplied 2, which ends up being 36. And it will be the same for the 17 to 25 as well. So it's 17 to 25, we still need to draw it. So we just multiply the frequency, density and class width. But here we can see that it's going to be, frequency is going to be, let me just have a look. But be 48, which means on the histogram we can just draw it as 6. So that would be around here. that should be your histogram. And now we're going to number question 6. So for number question 6, it says that Ari recorded the time in minutes that he took to complete each of his homework tasks last term. And then you just want to know, the table is already given to show like the frequency number, right? And then what they want to know is the class interval that contains the median of these times. So we need to find the total of this frequency to know in which interval the median is going to be. So we have 12, then that's 22, that's 30, so that's 58. Yep, 30 plus, yep, 58, and then you have 14, so that would be 72. So if you're 72 divided by 2, 236, 236, 12, 6 to 12, so that's 36. We know that will be here. That's 22, 30, and then it has to be at here in the middle of this range. So we know that it's going to be in this range, which is 30 t between 30 and 40. Yeah, it says calculate and estimate the 3 significant figures of the mean time it took Emery to complete his homework task last time. So we know the mean time, so here we can find, let me just move this away. And for the mean time, we know that we need to multiply frequency with the middle, like the midpoint of it, we would say. So here we just need to multiply, we need plus 15 plus 20 divided by 2, which we would get 17.5. So and multiply with frequency 12, which is going to add up to 210. We all know, I'm just gonna let you see how we calculate the midline first. So that will be 45 divided by 2, right? So 224, 714, 27.5. So you get this mid value, which multiplies by frequency, which is 27.5. So then you will end up with, not 27.5, 22.5. Let me just have a 22.5. So that's your midline, which you will multiply with the frequency, which will get 225. And you do this for every column. So which you'll end up getting 220, 980, and 630. And now we just need to calculate the estimate mean. So estimate mean basically we are going to add all of it divided by frequency, which we found at first, which was, I believe, was 72. So then we're going to add these up, which is 210 plus 225 plus 220 plus 980 plus 630. So that's going to add up to 31.5 for the estimate mean, and that should be your answer. And then the other one, the diagram below shows an incomplete histogram for the information in the table. So now we need to draw a diagram for this using the frequency density. So first of all, they have given 15 to 20. That's a class with a 5. And what was the frequency for 15 to 20, which was 12? So that was 12 divided by 5. So 5, 2, it was 10, 2.4. So we can see it would be, let me just have a look. It will be 2.4 right here, right? Which means this is going to be 2. This is 2.4. And then we're going to have 3 right here. Yep, and then we're going to have 1 right here. So that kind of, yep, so that should be it. And you can just put 4, 5, and then 6. And then we just need to find what was the second interval, which is 20 to 25. That was frequency of 10. So frequency of 10 divided by 5, so that's going to be 2. So you just draw it at 2 at the place 2. And another one was 25 to 30. That's 5 as well. That's 8 by 5. 8 by 5. That should be 1.6 around there. That's it. And then we have 30 to 40, so this now it's like 10. The class width is 10 now, so 28 divided by 10, so that would be 2.8. If you go to up right here, this will be 2.8 until 40, I believe. This should be it. And then I think you have the last one, which is 40 to 50 was an interval of class width of 10, so that's 14 divided by 10, that means 1.4. So when it's 1 here, then it means it's going to be right up here. that is 1.4. And that should be your histogram. And now we'll go on to question 7. So question number 7, it says that the information about the length of time in minute that 200 people waited for the train is given. So you have the time intervals with the class width and the frequency as well. And then it just says find the class interval that contains a median time. So we had 200 people, so the median would be at 100, right? So if it's going to be at 100, you've got to just add up until it's going to be at 100. And we can see that it's going to be 100 here already when it's like 28 plus 74. So that's 12. That's already 9, 10, 102. So it's going to be in this class interval, which is 5. Let's say go 10 equals 15. So that's going to be in that interval. It says calculated is the estimated mean for the mean time in that these 200 people waited for the train. So it's going to be the same thing as we did. We're going to find here. So that's going to be the middle, which is going to be 2.5, right? Multiplied by 28. So we're going to do the same thing for all of it as well at the same way. So you're going to add up with 70, 740, 1050, 1530, and then 1250. So then you just want to get estimate mean equals to 70 plus 740 plus 1050 plus 1530 plus 1250, which is divided by a total of 200, which you're going to end up with 23.2 for the estimate mean. It says on the grid opposite you need to draw a histogram of it. So this is the same thing as the frequency density. We're going to have to find the class width first, which is like 5 for the first one. So that's 28 by 5, right? So then it's going to be 5, 4, 20. Oh, wait, you can do 5, 5, 25. So 25, 30. So that would be 5.6. When I have to do 5.6 here, they don't give you like anything given pre. So you can actually just put the scale yourself. So the easier one, we with a big graph, you can just do like 2 blocks for like 1 unit each. So that would be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And then the first one we found was 20 divided by 5 was 5.6, and that's 0 to 5. That's gonna be just right here. And let me just draw this off. Okay, it's on a straight line, but it should be fine. And then we have another interval which was 5 to 15, so that's an interval of 10, 74, so that's 7.4. So that's 10 to 15. Sorry, no, 5 to 15 for 7.4. Should be just right here. I think this is until 15. Yep. And then the next one we have is 15 to 35, so that's a class interval of 20. And then you have 42. So that's going to add up to 2.1. So that's until 35. At 2.1. So just going to be right here. And then another interval was you have 35 to 50 with 36. So that's going to give you a frequency density of 2.4. So that's up to 50 over 2.4. Should be just right here. And then the last one is of 50 to 75 with a 25. So that's going to end up at 1.8. Oh, sorry, 0.8, not 1.8. So that's going to give you just around here. And that's until 75 only. We should end up here. And this should be your histogram. Your histogram should look like this. Okay, so now we'll go on to number 8. So number 8, it says that all the people at a meeting were asked whether they had been far for the last holiday. All the people gave one answer. Elton recorded the content of each person's answer. Elton drew an accurate pie chart. It shows that 40 people had been rewrote. Angle was 64. Calculate the number of people at the meeting. So we know that 64 degree in an angle is equal to 40 people. So we can just find 1 degree of how many people would that be. We'll probably get with a decimal, but it should be fine, because after that you'll be finding it for 360 degree. Just make sure that because it's degree, it has to be 360, not like a percentage which has to be just 100%. Yep. So for 360, you just multiply 360 multiply 0.65, where you should end up with 225 people. Okay, and then you go into number 9. So number 9, this is kind of like hard to get the because this is on, I'm doing it on the iPad, so I couldn't get like the projector to like measure it. But then just let you know that when you measure it outside, you have to use a projector to measure it accurately. They probably give you a linear of like plus or minus 2 or plus or minus 1, but then normally just try to make sure that the projector is correctly used. So now here I'm just going to give you that blue, the one that we have to find, preference for blue, is given as 48 degrees 48 degrees. So that's going to be just 48 degrees by 360, which is going to be just multiplied by 150, and should give you an answer of 20 students. Yeah. And we'll go on to number 10. So number 10, it says that the incomplete table and incomplete histogram give information about the length of time in minutes that each of the 105. So here they've given a frequency of 105, and then none of the 105 took longer than 190 minutes. So it's all less than 190 minutes. Use this information and the information in the histogram. So they've like completely missed out some information from the table, some from the histogram. So we're gonna have to rely on each other to figure out. So first of all, what we can do is they've given you, usually they always give you the first one, and here they give you the frequency density of the first one as well. So we can know what kind of frequency density in this chart, like how many blocks they're using for it. So you have a frequency of 35, and the class width is 70. So that means it's going to be 0.5, right? So we know that this is 0.5. So which means this is 1, and your 2 blocks 1.1, and that would be 1.2, and this would be 1.3. So it's going to 0.5 increments. And then here we can say that we don't have a frequency for 70 or 80, which is a class width of 10, which means we need to multiply with the frequency density, which is 1.3. So that's going to give you an answer of 13. And then the other one was that they've given you, they haven't drawn the histogram for this one, which is 80 to 90. That's a 10 divided by 10, basically frequency of just 1. So basically it's just going to be frequency of just 1. It should be just right here. So 80 to 90. It should be just here. Oops. And then say 90 to 110 was 15. So that's 15 divided by 10, which means, 15 divided by 20. So 110, 20, yep. 534.4. So that should be around 0.75-ish. Should be around here, in the middle of 0.5 and 1. So that should be around here. And we have 110 to 130. So here they've given 110 to 130 the frequency density, which should be 0.25. So that will be multiplied with 20. So that gives you 5. And then you have 130 to 190, but then because we don't have the one in histogram as well, we can just calculate. It says 105, just minus 105 minus all these numbers, 35 minus 13 minus 10 minus 15 minus 5, to get an answer for the frequency for 130 to 190, which is 27. And for get together frequency, that will be 27 divided by, which is a class width of 60. So that will end up to around less than 0.5. So it should be around there. Okay, until 100 and I believe 90. So this should be how your histogram should look like. Okay, so for this question, it says that Arab collects information from the time delay in minutes. Pie chart, he drew a pie chart. We just need to know what's the angle in degree, the frequency, and time delay. So what we're gonna do this is, they've given you rather than frequency density, they've kind of changed it, converted it into like angle. So here they've given you the first one, which is like Time delay, if it's a 42 frequency, you get an angle of 168. So which means 168 degree is equal to 42. So if you want 1, you just divide 42 by 168. And then you can multiply for each and every, which is like 92. Then it means you get a frequency of 23. And vice versa, if it's 15, you get like 60 degrees. And then here's 2 and 8. So which means they give you the total frequency. So did they give you a total frequency? Oh, but angles you can find the total angles with it. So that should be 360 degree minus 168 degree minus 92 minus 60 minus 8. So that you should end up with 32 degrees. And using that 32 degrees, go back here and just convert it back to frequency, where you should get an answer of 8. And it says calculate and estimate in minutes, so mean as well. So we know that mean here, this middle, which would be 2.5, multiply frequency, and then here 5 to 10, so that would be 7.5, multiply 23. So what we're gonna do that for everything, where you should get 105, you should get 172.5, should get 225. This one you should get 22.5 multiply 8, so that would be 180. And this would be 25 to 40 multiply 2, so that would be 65. So this should be just estimate mean equals to 105 plus 172.5 plus 225 plus 180 plus 65 divided by 90, which is the total frequency. This one has to be 90. So that you will get an estimate of 8.31. Because they say this estimate and give 3 significant figures, that should be all good. Okay, so for number 13, it says that the bar chart gives information about the number of pieces of music downloaded each month for each of 30 students in class. And we say note that calculate the percentage of students who download more than 8 pieces of music. So he means from right here, if you gotta find people that have downloaded more than. So you can take, these was 3 children, 7, and that's 2. So you have 12. So 12 out of 30. So you want to know the percentage of 12 out of 30, multiply 100. So you get a percentage of 40% of students, they downloaded more than 8 pieces. And now the one says calculate the estimate mean as well. So we know that we need to find the mean the same way as we always do. So 0 to 2 to 4, we're just going to try to find it from right here first. Let me just erase this back. So here, finding the mean, we know that it's going to be 4 for this one. So it's going to be 36 when you multiply them. So that's going to be 6 to 8, so that's 7. 5, 35. 9, so that's 10 multiply 3, 30. And you have total 14, so that's 13 multiply 7, 91. And you get 32 for this. That's 16 multiply 2. So estimate mean, that should be just 4 plus 36 plus 35 plus 30 plus 91 plus 32 divided by 30 students, which means it's going to give you an answer of 7.6, and that should be your mean. Okay, we'll now go on to number 14. 14 says Jenny has a shop. One morning, each of the 40 people who went in Jenny's shop to ask how long they were in the shop, so like time minutes. Calculate the estimate mean, so we know this is the same thing. There's going to be 2.5 multiplied 10, that's going to give you 25. And 5 to 17 plus 5 to 15, so that's going to be 5, that's like 20. So 10 is going to be 7, so multiply 7, 70. The same for these, you do 20 multiply 5, 100. And you have 27.5 multiply 6, you have 165. And you have 35 multiply 12, that ends up being 420. So if you just want the mean, it's going to be equals 25 plus 70 plus 100 plus 165 plus 420 divided by 40 people. That was the total frequency. So that's going to end up at 19.5 minutes, where was the estimate time that they were in the cafe. Okay, so now it says that the incomplete table for the incomplete histogram. was given about a number of kilometers each of the 40 people had traveled to get to the shop. So this is the kilometers and not time anymore. So now we know that they've given the frequency, they've drawn the graph, so we can try to find out what's the frequency density based on it. So here you can say that the frequency density is given. So we know that frequency density is equal to frequency divided by class width. So we can try to draw that. First of all, we get frequency of 4 divided by 10, so that's going to end up at 0.4, right? So we're going to have to find 0.4, which is just going to be right here. Okay. And it's going to give you a 0.4 of for the first 10 kilometers. And 10 to 15, we don't know the frequency, but we know that the frequency density here, based on what we've drawn, is going to be, that's 1. So that's 4.8. So that's multiplied with 5. So that's going to be end up with 24. And 15 to 30 as well, they've given you, so that's going to be 2.4. That's 2.4 multiply 15 to 30, so 15. So that's going to be end up with 36. And you have 6 divided by 30, which is going to be very, very tiny at around, that's 6, right? 6 divided by 30. 1 by 5, so that'll be like around 0.2, I believe. So it's going to be around 30 to 60, is around here, which is going to be just very tiny. Yep, and this should be how this is how your frequency, this is how your histogram should look like. And I think that should be all for today's video. I'll see you in the next video as well.